Hi, I'm Sonny Bates, and I'm the Ops Manual UPRT integration lead. And I'd like to share with you a presentation that I have to provide some ideas and concepts on how to integrate UPRT principles and training and methods into the operations manual of a typical Part 91 flight operations. So there are many ways to go about this, and I thought, well, one way to do this, because I have a lot of familiarity with the IS-BAO program, with my previous experience with the IS-BAO program. The IS-BAO offers a generic company operations manual, and so whether an operator utilizes this tool or not, this operations manual provided by the International Business Aviation Council is a good model, and so even though we're just using this for conceptual discussion, it's a great place, I think, to anchor to for a beginning of the discussion. So I'm going to provide with you the table of contents for this, what we call the GCOM from IS-BAO, but I won't provide the rest of the guide or the operations manual, because to get that, you have to be either an auditor or a member of IBAC and pay for the operations manual. So, but I will share with you the table of contents one time, but I'm sure IBAC does not care that I do that. So, like it says here on the bullet number 2, this table of content represents typical operations manual structure. Now, the structure is in a certain way going to cover, you'll see SMS and standard operating procedures and training and things like that. Other operations manual will have a different maybe cadence, on their table of contents or a different organizational structure, but these essential things will probably be in there. So I'll go over that in the following slides to show you where there might be opportunity to integrate with UPRT. So one of the places that became pretty obvious to me, and I know from what I understand, there's another team on UPRTA to look at the safety risk profile and possibly enhance the safety risk profile of an organization. And by the way, again, coming back to IS-BAO, for example, if you're an IS-BAO certified organization, you have to have a safety risk profile. And when I was with the IBAC staff and promoting IS-BAO, we did not have at that time, nor do I think there is today, and so therefore comes the opportunity, a line item on the safety risk profile that says, well, how do you address upset prevention and recovery? Do you do it through training? Do you do it through prevention? Do you do it through, in-flight training, simulator training, all the above? It just wasn't there. And I think today it's still not there. So there is an opportunity, as indicated by this slide, to address UPRT in the safety risk profile. Now, looking at this slide too, I want to share with you that, when we are out there in the system, so to speak, helping operators improve their game in safety risk management, we often use the Flight Safety Foundation's Basic Aviation Risk Standard. So here's yet another standard. And not that I'll go through that with you, but one of the common standards in that library, if you will, lists several risks that are common in the industry, and every operator should have in their operations manual methods to address these risks. And so you can see there, and I won't read the whole list, but it starts off with runway incursions, excursions, and then next is loss control in flight, followed by control flight into train. Not that these are listed in order of priority. These are just listed just to show you what the Basic Aviation Risk Standard from Flight Safety Foundation identifies. Now here we're talking about loss control in flight. And so I think there could be a way to integrate the risk of loss control in flight into the safety risk profile by addressing the degree to which the organization is participating in upset prevention recovery training. So that's one way, that's one concept. Another thing to look at when you look at the table of contents for an operations manual is there's going to be a section, regardless of what format you use, on standard operating procedures. And standard operating procedures, they could be enhanced to focus on upset prevention, and to include specific prevention techniques and tactics related to, let's say, CRM or automation management. I know from my experience with 28 years on a flight deck, if you don't manage the autopilot correctly, you might think you're on autopilot, but you're not, and you're busy doing something else. And then you look back and it's like, how did we get in this attitude? So that's just one example. But automation management could be a big part of, integrating the theme of why this SOP is important in the ops manual, related to preventing loss control in flight. And so anyway, and then when you get into the section of the ops manual that speaks specifically to CRM, that for sure can, be enhanced by techniques that are related to preventing loss control in flight through proper UPRT techniques and training. For example, again, this goes back to my military experience, but when we, changed control of the aircraft, let's say the instructor would say, I have the controls. The other pilot's supposed to show their hands and say, Roger, you have the controls. Just that positive transfer of aircraft control can assure, you have positive control in flight all the time. Without that, both pilots could be thinking the other pilot's flying and the airplane gets into an unusual attitude. So that's another area, standard operating procedures, that we should look at for possibly integrating UPRT into the ops manual. And then I'm only providing 3 options here on this presentation. There are possibly, all kinds of ways to address UPRT, but I thought I would start off with 3 basic ones that I think are pretty obvious. The last one is to facilitate identifying not only loss control in flight with Flight Safety Foundation, as they already do in the Basic Aviation Risk Standard, but identify UPRT as a BAR's requirement to address this risk. Currently, the BAR standard identifies loss control in flight, provides mitigating strategies, but it falls short of actually identifying UPRT as a mitigation strategy. So we really should address this with 2 organizations potentially. So as UPRTA is a new organization, and we're looking forward to ways that the risk of loss control in flight can be minimized and reduced down to a more reasonable risk level. We could work with Flight Safety Foundation to get UPRT into the Basic Aviation Risk Standard. We could work with IS-BAO and the IBAC to get the UPRT into the safety risk profile that they offer as a template, addressing specifically loss control in flight. So I don't see the UPRTA just working in a silo, in a vacuum to address this. I think working with those 2 associations as a minimum is a really smart way to go. So there you have it. The team is that I'm on anyway. The SMS team is led by Jeff Wolford, and we have the Safety Risk Management Working Group led by Jim Hosey, and the Risk Profile Development by Amanda Ferraro, and then yours truly here with the Ops Manual integration. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with everyone to improve our risk management strategies related to loss control in flight.